Hey Cactus crew, how you guys going? Thanks so much for joining me. Yeah, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Bill. Welcome to my channel. Well, welcome to CB Live on Friday night. We're going way back to 2020 because when I get tired of Katie's shit, I want to get as far back as I can go. And 2020, it's been my comfort zone. It's time for me to move on to 2021 because I have been going through the old Katie Joy vlogs, Katie Joy Live. And yeah, but anyway, this is not that. This is an old Without a Crystal Ball video titled When YouTubers Become Targets. Yeah, that's basically what we are going through right now and have been going through for a very long time, but it's at its peak now, I feel. Well, is it? What peak? Eyebrow peak. Whenever I say peak, I just think of her mountains on her eyebrows. And that is being mean. Shush, Bill, shush. Yeah, so Katie's trying to control other YouTubers in present day, is what I'm trying to say. There's a bunch of links that I will share in the description, and then after the live, they'll be in the pinned comments. So make sure you check them out. There's always I want to say truckload, I want to say dumpster, but I want to talk more highly of my links. There's a whole bunch of them, and they always relate to what we're talking about. But yeah, this is from June 2020. Quite fitting, isn't it? Or how the numbers add up. But yeah, a few months before she gets the boil as well. And 4 years before she lets her ego just take over, like she is the god of YouTube, the gatekeeper. Yeah, my voice is a bit lost. I don't know where it went. Half of it's here. So yeah, if I tune out, which I tend to do, you can tag me in the comments and leave a timestamp and I'll add it and let everyone know because, yeah, obviously I missed it. I'm here for her body language. That's what it is. It's all good. Okay, what else we got? I'm just talking to my brain and my mouth. They're trying to get on track. Two separate entities. I know the stuff I've got to deal with. Yeah, did I say timestamps were in the description box? Make sure that you go there, replay crew, because otherwise you might get lost and I might take you down another road you don't want to be on. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and X at It's Crystal Bill. Please like, share, and consider subscribing. Oh yeah, and make sure you check out the Shorts tab on my channel, on my channel page, because I try and upload a few shorts a day. And yeah, there's a lot now. There's so many there. I look at it, I'm like, holy shit. And I'm not even scraping the surface. You know, I'm going deeper, Katie, than you've ever gone before. But yeah, make sure you check them out. Everything is my own opinion from someone who's been on this carousel from hell since 2019 and can't seem to get past 2020 because it's my comfort zone. I like to get as far away as possible. And yeah, we're dealing with close to 5 years of this crap. But yeah, I will see you on the other side of a little tune. Oh no, I hope it's not one of those lives where I'm just breaking into song every second sentence. The full moon is one day away and I vibe off that shit. Sorry, you can probably hear my tea. Iced tea? No, well it is because it's summer. Yeah, so that the moon is where I will stop focusing on Katie. I just know it takes me to another level. But yes, not as low as Katie. Her level is pretty low. I'm just gonna grab a drink, 1 second. Oh my God, that took forever. I just took a big gulp of water and a big lot of ice. Went in, I'm like, oh my God, I got to chew this now. Hard work and kept me away. But it's fine. We'll just trade water and the chat will link up. There's a 1 minute delay. And I like us to be all on the playing field, you know, all on one page as we move forward or down as we go down to the dumpster. I really hope I'm not breaking into song. Okay. Yeah, so this is June 2020, and there's some things that like relate to this time. Like she's friends with Lindsie Chrisley. This is 2 months before she gets the first boil infection on her face, which happened in August 2020. Yeah, and this is 4 years ago when her ego wasn't as inflated and like her substance abuse wasn't so out of control, and you know, she was a bit more put together. And you can see over the years, she's just, when she's left to her own vices, got away with so much for so many years. Now she thinks she's the YouTube gatekeeper. But yeah, so in this video, she's talking about KAIL and Lindsie and how she's friends with Lindsie. So let's just get into it. And then, yeah, I'll be in chat and have a little chin wag in there. Hey, Goose. Oh, hey, Sally B. Has it been a while? Maybe. And is it Marcy? Marcy with an IE, not a what? I love how much clarity you give in your username. Clarity or clarification is something I look for in life. Okay, let's just bring her in. Oh, wait, I didn't give a warning. Sorry, Cactus crew. I just went straight in without saying, let's count it. Should I sit here? I think I should. The table was made for me. Oh, okay. I'm just getting it all in. I'm taking it all in. Are we ready? Now I'll ask you. Oh, hey, Esty. Good timing. Carrie Taylor, Cactus High Five. This is your favorite place to be. Oh, you're so kind and beautiful. And I love how that's green. Okay, enough treading water. We're now going to dive with our scuba dive. How do I press play? Oh, I've got to go to the other screen. Come on, brain, please stay with me.
Hey guys, it's Friday afternoon and I was like, okay, I was gonna like do another recording or were we gonna do a live stream? And I started thinking about some stuff that's been going on that I have not been telling you about. And no, this does not directly relate to me, but I wanted to sort of talk through you guys because this, hold on a second, this week has been insanity. Okay. So one of the benefits, obviously, when you have a platform is that you have people that love to follow and listen and they like tune in and they want to be a part of your community and they leave you messages and they, you know, there's amazing benefits of being a public figure and having like an influence on the wider web, right? And there's all kinds of different influencers. There's like YouTubers, there's people that are on Instagram, there are reality TV people, there are people that are simply like, they do like blogging on lifestyle, on travel. You know, Instagram is filled with them. YouTube is filled with them. There's a lot of different ways that you can get yourself sort of out there in the public. And the benefit is obviously you get the financial benefits of having the platform. So you can get brand deals, you can get endorsements, you can have monetized content on partnerships like on YouTube. So there's a lot of like perks to the kinds of work, like for instance, I do. Now I'm not by any means a large YouTuber. This channel just hit over 100,000 subscribers not too long ago. And I would say that in the grand scheme of YouTube, this channel is still relatively small. But anytime anyone is out in the public eye, there is this darker side of the world where fans become obsessed And they're not fans, but they're simply watching your every move because of something you've either done or something you've said or something they perceive to know or believe about you. And I've noticed as I've been watching this on Twitter that this happens to a lot of people on this platform.
Okay, while you are distracted by chat, I'm just going to add my 2 cents. Brand deals. Remember the coldest water? Scentbird that only lasted a few hours, but watching you spray perfume. Oh, I lived for every single frame of that. What else oh yeah, some makeup back in the day when you did that tropical look with your blonde hair, and then I put you in Hawaii so it all fit. That's all on my Instagram because I, am beautiful at my artwork. And I put it on Instagram. But yeah, Katie, flashbacks. What else is she talking about? Fans. She reminds me of Janelle. They're my fans. They're not your fans. No one's your fans. And no one focuses on you because you did something wrong like you think. We're not. Yeah, I want to say stuff, but I think I might have already said it. Yes, the T-shirt. I love to flip it over and try eat shit, but it never does. But sometimes I just pretend it does say that. Like Katie, she likes to pretend things say what it doesn't say. I learnt from you, Katie.
I'm sorry if my swallowing and clicking is bothering you. I'm trying to do multiple things at the same time. I think whoever is upset about the swallowing and clicking needs to evaluate their current status in the lifetimes these days. Okay.
Wow, maybe going back, you weren't so put together as what I thought. Maybe all the flags were there all along. What she just said, their current status in the lifetimes.
So one of the benefits, obviously, is you get a lot of, you can make money, you can use your platform for whatever it is that you want. But the downside is that you get people that start tracking you and following you, and nobody is immune to this. This happens across the board to all kinds of people, from reality TV to celebrities. I mean, didn't Taylor Swift have someone literally sleeping in her bed? You know what I mean? Like, fans become obsessive. They start becoming connected. They start standing. They become...
There's a difference between being a fan and being a stan and then being a stalker. Isn't there? I'm pretty sure maybe Stan is a fan now. But Katie, the guy that she found in her bed was her stalker. At least now everyone's a troll. Everyone's a threat.
Fanatical. And then, so you get the fanatical fans who are can be equally as scary as those that fanatically hate people, right? And I was thinking about this only because of, like, I've been going through stuff, but I'm not here to talk about me, because I wanted to actually talk to you about something that I've been dealing with this week. So earlier this week, or maybe late last week, I was talking to you about how, like, this petition had been started on Twitter, and it was being shared all over the place, and it was related to one of the girls from Teen Mom. And I'm only bringing this up because, A, like, I brought the story up to begin with, but B, the levels of which people will go to sort of smear people and to dismantle their lives and to cause real life consequences for people. It's kind of mind boggling. And I spent literally all week trying to sort through, like, what was right and what was wrong. And I was telling, if you don't know, I'm friends with Lindsie Chrisley, and she and I were trying to figure out, like, what's going on. And Lindsie Chrisley she was previously on the reality show Chrisley Knows Best. She's the daughter of Todd Chrisley. I was telling, if you don't know, I'm friends with Lindsie Chrisley, and
just how easily that hand comes up to stroke your hair after you blatantly lie. The whole reason she came up with the lie that she was best friends with Lindsie Chrisley, you know, because they're boy mums and they bond over that, was she needed Todd Chrisley to believe that that's where she was getting the info from, which would, like, you know, give whatever she was sharing about him credit, but it was all lies. And since then, Chrisley, I mean, oh, sorry. Wow, I just whacked myself in the head with my microphone. No, with my, you know, it doesn't really matter. Fuck, I just lost my brain just then. I knocked my brain out. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, Lindsie Chrisley has come out since then on her coffee convos with with what's going on with my brain? Sorry, guys, this happened last time and I blamed it on the heat. There's no heat. Oh, yeah. Susie says it perfectly. Lindsie does not like KJ. Lindsie calls Katie a stalker and to leave her family alone and everything. Like, I'll link those videos down below. Look, I'll just link the whole playlist.
And she and I were trying to figure out, like, what's going on. And Lindsie Chrisley she was previously on the reality show Chrisley Knows Best. She's the daughter of Todd Chrisley, who is currently facing indictments in federal court. He also stars on Chrisley Knows Best. She is not on the show anymore. They are estranged. I met her when I started covering her dad's arrest. And then she and I actually became friends just because we have a lot of commonalities. We have we have very similar personalities. We have very similar morals. We have very similar beliefs. And we have very similar, like, takes on life. And so sometimes when when you meet someone like that, it's like, okay, cool. So obviously having that insight, I was given sort of a sneak peek into something that was going on with KAIL, her podcast host. Now, a lot of people from Teen Mom OG or 2 hate Kailyn Lowry. And if you hate her, hey, everyone needs to have someone to hate. But, there's this thing going on right now where we're trying to cancel everyone for saying things in their past and trying to connect them to, racism or whatever, and people are starting to dig through different, this all started because people started, they fired Taylor Selfridge on Teen Mom OG after everything happened with George Floyd. So there's this huge shift and networks are dumping people that have said things and done things.
Why can't she just explain it how it happened? Why can't she write it down before? So Taylor was, oh my God, I have to remember names. Oh, what's her name? Look, I can't even think. I'm going to have to press play. I should have pressed play later. I should have pressed pause later on. Why is my brain acting like this? My brain just wants to press pause and walk away. No, we're in 2020. This is not the present day.
On social media. And so people start digging into hers. And then I start seeing on Twitter, there's all of these comments about KAIL. So I wasn't like seeking it out. It just sort of like popped up. And then I start seeing that this person is literally like spamming all these comments about KAIL. And there's this petition that gets started. Okay.
Okay. I remember now. Cheyenne, her ex, Corey, his girlfriend, Taylor, they were like, she was banned from, Teen Mum, from appearing on it because she had made racist tweets way back before she was even involved with MTV. And like at this time, everyone's old history was being brought up and people were being called out for being racist and stuff on Twitter. And stuff was shared about KAIL. I'm pretty sure it was that live that Chris did, and where she was calling him the N-word and talking negatively about people of color and stuff. So that's all come up, and people are trying to cancel KAIL. And of course, Katie's got the inside source because she's friends with Lindsie. She can tell the truth whether KAIL is racist or not. But it's a Katie story time. Okay. Just took me right back.
And it's all of these like allegations about her that she's done and said these very terrible things to her, the father of her child, Lux, and the soon to be like baby that she's pregnant with, the little boy that she'll be having. I don't even know. She's going to probably give birth in the next couple months. And then Lindsie and KAIL host a podcast together, which actually returned yesterday, called Coffee Convos. And KAIL and Lindsie are extremely different people. So if you're not familiar with Kailyn is sort of this, she's not type A. She's kind of like all over the place. She'll have 4 children. She comes from sort of a chaotic upbringing at her own sort of description. She has this sort of estranged relationship with her mother. She has a lot of childhood issues that she's dealt with. She's put her life out on TV for the last 10 years. She's had all of her worst moments filmed, including her very explosive outbursts at the fathers of her children. She has admitted to being involved in DV as the person doing it and as also the person receiving it. So she has had altercations with one of her father's, Hobby, on TV. She's had some issues with some of her father's, Joe, on TV. And then most recently, last October, she and Chris, the father of her baby Lux, and the one that she's currently pregnant with, got into an altercation, and he actually got arrested. And now they have this order of protection.
Wow. Whoa, 4 years later for KAIL, like a lot has changed. I think she's up to baby 8. She just had twins. And I don't know, I don't think it's with Chris. I'm not sure. Like Lux was the last time I paid attention. So yeah, oh, KAIL. But she's creating her family that she didn't have because she basically had to raise herself because her mum, you know, did nothing and just lived in the car with a cat.
And so she has this checkered past. And then Lindsie she grew up sort of affluent with her father. Her father's now facing all of these charges.
Knowing Katie's tells, why did she just like have to play with her hair then? Or is that why she's going after Chrisley? Because he's rich. Oh, okay. Does that face say it all?
Her father's, Hobby, on TV. She's had some issues with some of her father's, Joe, on TV. And then most order of protection. And so she has this checkered past. And then Lindsie she grew up sort of affluent with her father. Her father's now facing all of these charges for fraud, for theft, for tax evasion. And so she comes from a world of like luxury, but because of how she grew up, she also grew up like with her family being sort of like her mother was sort of alienated from her by her father. So they're very different people. Lindsay's very meticulous and type A and organized, and Kailyn is more like go with the flow and I don't care about it and I don't plan. And their podcast is very much a play on how incredibly different they are. So I
was like waiting for you to say, and this is what I'm like, exactly like Lindsie. Oh, wow. The Lindsie delusion is something. I remember even some lives she would pretend to just get off the phone. She's like, I just got off the phone to Lindsie talking about our sons.
Welcome so much, Kiki, for becoming a member. So if you follow my channel, I'm critical of a lot of these teen moms. I'm also equally like, I will celebrate them when they make choices. Like my job is not to be like their best friends. My job is not to be anyone's best friend. My job is really to just sort of report. And it's very, very rare that I actually like become friends with people that I cover. Lindsie literally is like the only person really that I would call a friend that I've covered, and Amy Duggar. But outside of that, it's not like this common thing that happens in my life. So I start getting like notified on Twitter, right, that this person is like spamming them. And this person has been in my DMs and for like 11 months or so has been sending me messages about both KAIL and Lindsie. And at first I was completely ignoring it because.
Oh my God, because I'm a pug lover. Susie wrote, why does the Pug Patrol want to eat, bark, and play whenever Bill goes live? Because I feel like I'm a pug human. But yeah, like my dog was a pug, and yeah, I love pug love. My parents' pug at the moment is gone up north, so it's a weekend without it. Give your pugs a kiss from me.
Some of the information they were telling me about Lindsie was so off base. I was like, that's not true. And I could literally send a message to Lindsie and be like, okay, this person says this about you. Can you tell me if this is true? All right. So for the most part, like I've interacted with this person and I've had to like give them information to get them to tell me stuff. But this sort of came to a head this past week because this person reaches out to me out of nowhere. I hadn't talked to them in a very long time. And they are like, there's going to be audio coming out. It's coming out.
Do you reckon this is Rue? Her #1 teen mum contact, where she just used to steal everything that Rue said on Twitter.
It proves what I've said all along about Kailyn. It is every single thing that she's ever done. It is coming out. And I was like, okay, what's coming out? You know, audio and video. And that was like 2 weeks ago. Okay. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, and she's like, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell Grace Report. And I said, cool, just let me know if it comes out, you know? So then I start looking at it. I'm just going to show you the Twitter account. So this is the account. And I want to just sort of show you, they started this petition on change.org to get her to be like, don't support Kailyn Lowry and Lindsie Chrisley, Black Fathers Matter. And then you can just see that she's like almost always tweeting about KAIL. Like everything is about Kailyn. Her entire.
Oh God, look at me. I'm just skimming past, not blocking anything, just sitting here pretty. Oh, I remember this is the account that exposed you, Katie. It's that Lessie, like is there a number there? Oh, look, I can't squint. What's before the 420? Anyway, it's probably another number. This is the Twitter channel that exposed Katie with so Katie was talking with them. So this is who Katie was talking to in the Lindsie DMs that the person released, like Katie talking shit about Lindsie. So this is where it happened. I know, like, guys, I'm a spirit animal. I mean, I'm a spirit animal. My spirit animal is a snail. So it's taken me 4 years to put this information together. Wow. That is one of the longest ones. Add that to the list. But my brain is more alive than it was when I first started my channel. So, okay. Those pieces should have gone together ages ago, Bill.
This entire page is about Kailyn. So she spends like all of her time on this page literally talking about Kailyn. So, you know, she puts out this change.org thing and she makes these humongous claims. And I'm the kind of person where it was like, okay, when you see the allegation, okay, let's verify it, right? So the claim is that she knows isn't connected to people that are friends with KAIL who have told her about audio and video. And she has seen audio and video of KAIL and Chris getting into an argument with KAIL spitting on him, calling him the N-word, and yelling and screaming. She also claims to have seen text messages of KAIL talking crap about Lindsie, talking badly about Leah, talking poorly about other cast members, really just being nasty and human, like nasty.
What if that account is Chris? That's who would have access to all of that. It makes you wonder. Oh, and did you see that David and Janelle were getting divorced? Seems pretty legit this time. But I wonder if it's, you know, I don't know.
And when I've, you know, when you're trying to verify the I guess, legitimacy of the source. Like, you have to sometimes like give up information and sort of give them like the sense that like you guys are like in a relation, like a trusting relationship. And so I'm trying to sort of give her some information and see like, what does she know and how does she know it? And, you know, I'm trying to figure out, does she actually have a contact? Does she not? And so she contacts me out of the blue and she's like, oh, this audio and videos comes out. Then this change.org petition comes out. So I'll show you that. And I had to actually, at one point, so she creates this petition on change.org. Whoops. Oops. Which basically has like this all about Kailyn and the podcast. And she has like all of these allegations about her that are seriously.
Is this weird? Like, this is what you would do and are doing and have done. Remember your GoFundMe that you set up for when you were going to court with Steve or something? Or look, I can't remember that far back, and I should be able to. Oh, look, I am blocking the screen now. It doesn't really matter. Katie. The expert on KAIL. Look at her calling it out. At least it's not 600 videos on the Duggars or something ridiculous. Like, you just can't get away from sister wives. You just go round and round and round in circles. It's got to the point where you think people are anti-polygamy. You don't talk like that if you're an advocate. Anyway, because everything's anti. Yeah, you say anti. I say anti. Auntie. Oh, remember Auntie from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Over, like, she talks about stuff that happened in 2014 on the show. And then it's this part, involved 2019. Kailyn and Chris Lopez were overheard by 2 family members. She's referring to him as the N-word. You'll never see your son again. There's audio for doing this. And then it goes on about how she's like got ethnic children and she's keeping them away from him. You know, she starts tweeting about like how Cheyenne calls them out. Don't support coffee combos. Kailyn has white privilege. And, you know, it's weird because, you know, her updates become, it starts out where you're like, okay, there could literally be some truth to this, maybe. But she started getting a little bit crazy because in one of her updates, she starts saying that Lindsie is racist. So she starts making these claims, right? So she starts like making these claims about Lindsie, and I'm just see if I can find the update.
Like, her mic is very loud. I mean, not her mic, her mouse is very clicky and loud. That's all I've got. That is all I've got. I should just jump forward because I'm interested more in the end, but knowing my luck, because I'm a fluke artist, you know, like only sometimes it works out for me. Story of my life. If I jump, sometimes I might jump over the important bit.
So in the update, she actually says that Lindsie used the podcast as a platform to justify DV against Black and Latino men, that Lindsie are both basically racists. And her arguments against Lindsie are, Lindsie added, now that there are more ways to provide evidence of DV, there are more people willing to disclose what's happened to them. She feels sorry for victims of DV, but she has no empathy for Joe and Hobby. So, you know, making a lot of assumptions, claiming that, you know, Lindsie is a terrible person that obviously hates any partner that's connected to her. And she starts saying that, you know, Lindsay's never spoken out about BLM, Black Lives Matter. She doesn't care about people. She assimilates and she's white privilege and all this stuff, right? And I'm like, okay, this is completely crazy because I've never heard her talk about this. I've never heard her say that. She's definitely not a racist at all. Lindsay's.
It's such a weird thing to put a whole, like, you know, or almost an hour this live that Katie did. Because when she first was on YouTube up until during the Tati lawsuit in 2021, she used to go live 3 times a day. Can you believe that? Like, that's a lot. And then every night was followed by a drunken IG live, the roundup, or the look at Katie just staring at the TV, drooling because she's so drunk. Each to their own, how you represent your business. But yeah, I was just like E said, there's a lot to criticize about KAIL, but racism isn't one of them. It doesn't say that, but I can't look at the screen. Oh my gosh, she's picking straws. But I think she just wanted to bring up that she's friends with Lindsie. So, you know, that's how low she goes.
She's not 100%. So I'm sitting here going, okay, it started out where it would be like, okay, it's about KAIL. And then it starts out with like, it's stuff about Lindsie. And I'm like, this isn't even who Lindsie is. I can verify that because I talk to her all the time. So then I'm like, okay, we have to figure out if this is real or not. So this thing starts getting like plastered, and everyone on Twitter is resharing this. Lindsie is, I can verify that because I talk to her all the time. So then I'm like, okay, Lindsie, be like, okay, it's about KAIL. And then it starts out with like, it's stuff about Lindsie. And I'm like, this isn't even who Lindsie is. I can verify that because I talk to her all the time. So then I'm like, okay, we have to figure out if this is real or not. So this thing starts getting like plastered, and everyone on Twitter is resharing this. And there's a group of people that are like retweeting it and like spamming it under all these people's comments. And I start getting like DMs from this person saying, okay, we're going to release it. We're going to release it. We're going to release it. And then it comes to a head, and I'm like, we're waiting for it to be released. One day goes by, nothing happens. And I keep asking and asking and asking. And anytime I ask, I'm like, well, you said it was going to be released. Well, I'm not releasing it. Girls are releasing it. Okay, well, you said it was going to be released. No, I didn't say I was releasing it. They're releasing it. And then I start talking to them about how the laws work, right? So if you're going to release content of like a recorded call of them fighting, and it's either not KAIL or Chris releasing it, it's illegal. And then she's like, oh, I'm not releasing it. People that were there are releasing it. And they have—
oh my God, the fact that you're even relaying this bullcrap, because Katie, this is the kind of low barrel source that you use and rely on. That someone that you've got a bug for information, and then this is what happens. It's so Twitter gossip. It's just fucking like, I know I chose this. Should I jump to the end? I just want to watch the end. But if I just shut up, maybe we'll get to the end quicker. Okay, yes, I'm agreeing with my brain now.
have attorneys who've told them it's okay to release it. And then they're like, well, now they're going to release it after the podcast. So then she goes and listens to the podcast from yesterday, where they end up talking about Janelle Evans and her husband, David Eason, who, by the way, are back together. And then she says, well, now we're not going to release it because they dragged Janelle and they didn't even talk about racism. And they didn't even record that podcast. It was spliced together and it was pre-recorded, and they didn't even do any new content. This is hilarious. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I literally remember when they recorded that, because it was like, they've recorded, I think, 2 episodes total. And they're behind because they recorded that weeks and weeks and weeks ago. So they're not like recording the same week and dropping it the same week. So when they recorded it, this is what was going on. So what had George Floyd stuff hadn't even happened yet. So then she's like, well, we're not going to release it. So finally, after a while of going back and forth and trying to figure things out and telling her, like, if you have this stuff, this is literally a felony and they're going to press charges against you. Suddenly they're not releasing it. She's going to like just let them squirm. And I just need to let show the truth out there. And then suddenly I become a racist for literally like not believing what she says. And it started to get me thinking. I started looking through her. She has—
Oh, Tanya, is it too fast for you? I did amp it up, but do you want me to drop it back down? I did amp it up to 1.5 speed. But yeah, just let me know if it's too fast, because I can drop it back down. I'm just like, thank God for captions, because I've turned my ears off.
An original Twitter, and she admits to me she's literally been targeting KAIL for 2 years. 2 years. This person has been following her on Twitter, retweeting, spamming anyone that talks about KAIL, disseminating this information, writing these change.org petitions as though it's fact. There's no facts in what she's reporting because there's no audio or video that anyone knows about. And people that, like, you know, yeah. So, over time, I'm like, this is insane. This person is literally targeting KAIL, has developed this she's developed this narrative about who KAIL is, regardless of facts or truth. And she may have people that she speaks to that know KAIL, but she doesn't have actual facts or proof, because anytime I'm like, she's like, well, I have receipts, but she's never shown me a single receipt. Like, one thing she told me was that,
but she's never shown me a single receipt. But you still use her as a source. And what was that, you outing her before and blasting her? And what is the point of this? You are making my stream look shit, because 1 minute we're on point and then the next minute it's the carousel from hell. Can't you just deliver a stream without your ego inserting themselves, itself? Is it in the tea? Is the ego in the tea? Oh, it's in the booze. The more loose you get. That's why I want to get to the end. Okay, look, I'm going to risk it. With the power of the full moon about to hit, I'm going to take a leap of faith and jump forward. Surely she'll be on that rant for at least, what? Yeah, like 8 minutes or so. 10. Look, let's not be precise. Let's just pick. That is a good number, isn't it? Oh, we're going to go numbers. Why are we on Jeffree Star? Just it becomes this game, Jeffree Star. Oh, do we need to know that information? Katie, can we make you dance? Whoa. Oh, it's in black and white, but maybe that's... Hey, this is my hand, these are my fingers. I use them to spread my stuff. Sometimes I use my other hand. Oh, it looks like... Wait, no. Oh, do you know what it looks like? I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle. Here is my spout. Is it spout or stout? When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over. It looks like she's singing, pour me out. This is where we stop.
Can actually destroy a career. And so if you want that information to be put out there, and the backlash has been so immense for her, I was like, well, we need to actually look at what's being put out there, and if there is any substantiating proof that proves this. And I was, after over a week of all of that, could not find nothing. I couldn't find a single thing that proved any of the things that she has written in that petition. So I'm going to take up for Katie here. Katie isn't a huge KAIL fan by any means, and she's basically defending her by being honest. So objectivity is key here, and that's what we're getting. Yeah, like, I'm not a humongous fan of KAIL, but I'm not going to drag her over something that's false, right? So I'm not going to sit there and go, KAIL said these things. I reported, as did a lot of media outlets, that...
I remember the time when you went hard at KAIL on Twitter trying to get her to react to you so you could go and make a video about her to do with her being an anti-vaxxer. You just had to poke the bear. And then she came at me. Well, are people not allowed to stand up for themselves? You don't stand up for yourself. You don't take accountability. Doesn't mean no one else does. We're all out here. We're grown, like, we've gone through the stages of life. We've matured. You're stuck in a teenage mindset and you love it. And your hair, I can't believe what? If you had friends, you wouldn't have shaved your side of your head, because that's what you need, a friend like me that would just be honest. But I don't have the energy to be around you. That's why we're back in 2020. Oh, this is June 2020. It says up the top. Yeah, Katie's video about when YouTubers become targets. But I really liked her dance.
This petition was started. I reported that it was put out there, and now I'm telling you, there's literally no proof that any of these things that are in here are at all true. And despite my attempts to get any sort of evidence from this person over weeks, I could not get a single shred of evidence suggesting that this was like what it was. Does KAIL have a history of saying things that might be insensitive? Yeah. Does she have some friends that might be like on the edge of conservative, almost slightly, I don't know, pushing, you know, the line with being kind of sort of anti-friendly to racial stuff? Maybe. But I don't see anything like on her Twitter specifically. There was some resharing of other people saying the N-word, but it was like not memes, like memes and that kind of stuff, which you shouldn't reshare. There was a tweet from 2016 where her friend said it, but not her. But I didn't see anywhere where she said it. You hated Mackenzie until she gave you an interview. Are you the same with KAIL? I've never spoken to KAIL. I've never spoken to KAIL in my entire life.
Wouldn't she be the first person that you would reach out to? And then if you can't get a direct quote or anything, that's when you would move on to maybe a third-party source? I guess you weren't so journalistic. Well, you never were, but wow, you do love Twitter. You remind me of those people that don't know that there's anything else on the internet besides Facebook or whatever social media platform they're on. And so they don't get any other information besides what that platform tells them. Yeah.
Never had a conversation with KAIL, so I'm not defending KAIL. I'm saying this allegation is not true. And she's being railroaded by this person with unfactual statements.
Katie, did you just say unfactual statements? Oh, you should be watching this. Should we go get you? Should I email you and say, come join the class? Sit up the front, glasses on. Well, not really glasses because it's so bright. You can't really see anything besides the casting couch, which I think is gone now. And all my comfort in watching Katie live was in that casting couch, because what else are you meant to look at? You can't look at the bile green walls. Okay, like you're forced to look at Katie. So I haven't gone there yet. I reverted back to 2020. What did I come here for? Did I want to go back a bit? Yep.
By this person with unfactual statements. I hope that makes sense. And I wouldn't say that I hated Mackenzie. Was I snarky about Mackenzie? Did I call her, the stage 5 clinger or Klingon? Yeah, because on TV, that's how it's portrayed. But I also know like the way things are portrayed on reality TV is not factual. And so when I'm putting out like snarky content, you have to take it with a grain of salt. It's for entertainment purposes. So did I ever hate Mackenzie? No. Do I think that what people tell me is 100% true? No.
No. Yes. Your body language says yes, you do. You lean into it. Tell me more. Oh man, that's not what I wanted to say, but that's what came out of my mouth.
Now, if these allegations were proven to be true, I would report it. So if something does come out, like say they do these whole dives into her specific social media, which is happening. If they dive into it and it's true and they find something, I would report that. I'm coming back here and saying what's being reported here is not true because there's literally no evidence. If evidence were to materialize, I would consider it. I hope that makes sense. I don't try to hate anyone, to be honest. Okay, so this is what's happening to KAIL. And I know it happens to a lot of people, like I've seen the same sort of vitriol behavior on Janelle Evans, which, listen, like I'm just giving you examples that I can think about off the top of my head. Like every single time Janelle gets some sort of brand sponsorship, people start contacting her and going real life. And this person with KAIL is like literally trying to interfere in KAIL's real life.
Miranda, Derek, the dancers, you went after them. You've gone after the Duggar women that are trying to make money on their YouTube channel. You've gone after so many people's sponsors. Yeah.
And, it's there's this line where I'm sitting here going like, what is it with these people that they get so much hate and they get so obsessed with one single person that their entire sort of identity online becomes that person? Like, what is it about KAIL that makes that person dedicate all of their time to it? You know, why is KAIL the target? Why is there's accounts that do similar things to Janelle? You know, it always makes me wonder, like, what is, I would love to talk to Dr. Grande about the psychological profile of a online trolling stalker, right?
And that's what you are. You were that to Chrisley, you were that to Tati, 7M. You go beyond the usual boundaries. Like, you don't know boundaries. You just dig and dig and dig and dig and speculate, and like you are out to harm them. Having a big drink there. Let's see if we can catch this swallow.
And evidence, yes, Lorianne says we all have different opinions and they can change unless you aren't human. Correct. And I'm not expecting everyone to.
Oh, you totally are expecting everyone to agree with you.
I'm not expecting everyone to love her or hate her. Like, I know people hate her. Yeah, it felt like a personal vendetta, because the way that it was being described was, I kept trying to get to the objectivity of why, if this stuff existed and if it was friends of hers that wanted to put it out, why would they put that out? What's the motive? What's the objective? And if they have all these things that are like petty, like saying her talking about Lindsie or her talking about Leah, what's the purpose of putting that out other than revenge? I don't know. If it's something major, like what they're saying, I could understand. But some of the stuff that they were saying was going to be released was really petty stuff. Like, she said something nasty about Leah. She was mean about Lindsie. She laughed about this person. Like, what's the point in putting that out? I don't.
Like, you trying to find objectivity, but because you don't have self-awareness, you can't see that you're just wasting time and energy on petty information. Why does my brain hurt all of a sudden? Oh God, her hairline in the shorts that I put out yesterday, one of them I need to just really do slow motion for myself, maybe, but maybe I'll release it, because half of, like, the side she parts it on, she should have another, like, the other side. She should be flicking her hair the other side, because she's lost so much hair. And it's because she's unhealthy. She's got that staph infection. I swear she's got hookworm too. I've done my little filter thing on her face, and it's so sick that I can't even discuss it. Plus, I don't think people want to see that, because I don't want to see it. And I've put myself there, and I see it every night when I close my eyes. I created my own nightmare, but because there's a lot of stuff going on under her skin that she can't see the naked eye. And I'm talking about present day, that she's just left. And I think the hookworms come from the dogs, the feces, the cat feces in the bedroom, the dogs getting in the bed, Frida licking her face, and then Katie not having hygiene, any hygiene, no self-care. Okay, yeah, we can't talk. I can talk about that all day, but I can't talk about it now. I'll link Katie's face videos down below. Oh gosh, she's done some damage to my brain. That's why I turned my ears off, survival mode. And I'm so grateful for captions. Like, I really want to do a video on the inventor of captions. Wonder if he's still around. Should I send him some fan mail? I will. I want to. He's a legend. Where would we be without subtitles? I don't know where I'd be. Unable to watch world movies. That's right.
I don't understand that. Sounds like this person is jealous of KAIL. Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, I've tried to figure out, like, they keep saying they have a job, that they're doing this for a client, that they're an advocate for children and families, that this is their business, that they have a team. They have a team. That's what they keep saying. We have a team that's doing this. And I'm like,
And you're like, let me just move my hair away from my ear so I can take this all in because I'm going to steal this and do this in the future. Listen to what she just said. Katie, that's you. If anything in this is you, this is you. Maybe the kitchen. Oh. Caught in the scratch of a moment. No, the moment of a scratch. Brain. They keep saying that they have a job and they're doing it for a client. Oops, accidentally.
That they're an advocate for children and families, that this is their business, that they have a team. They have a team. That's what they keep saying. We have a team that's doing this. And I'm like, a team.
How come you don't say we anymore? I've noticed in a lot of your posts, you don't say we at Without a Crystal Ball. Me and my group, my team. Weren't you going to have a social media team at one point? Aren't you and your couch a team? I'm sure your team is the pillows. Love is love. They remind you to stay on track. These are your values. They're written on a pillow. You'll never forget them. You should get a tattoo, Katie. You know, like the hypocrisy is thick. Control the narrative. I am a victim. Yeah, there's a huge list there in the carousel from hell. Yes, this was 2 months, before her first staph infection when Mr. Boyle came. And she just was like, I've got a sinus infection. So that's why she should have known in 2023 that it was a reoccurring staph infection in the same spot. Instead, she left it from May until August or something ridiculous without treating it for antibiotics, and now it's massive. She actually put hydroperoxide on it twice and it turned gray, and then it had a ring light, like a ring, from ringworm. What's the difference? Maybe I'm on the wrong worm. Maybe it's not hookworm. Are ringworm and hookworm the same? Because they make one's a hook and one's a circle. Okay, I've got a lot to learn about worms. Oh, but when it rhymes, we are on the right track. Fuck, I'm so sorry, guys. This is the full moon. This is how it affects me. Okay, trying to ground myself. We are here. Bio green walls, we are here.
Interesting. Yes, she's a troll. So they have been trying to figure out, might be someone that personally knows her or one of her real life enemies. It could be David. Who knows? It's somebody who really just does not like KAIL. And every person that's online gets someone like this eventually, right? Everyone gets groups that, retweet or spam tweet or send messages or call your homes. It's like it happens to a lot of people. It's not like I was reading a YouTuber, Repzilla or something, I think, and he was talking about this kid that's literally been like interfering in his real life and sending out photos of him and his kids. And, it happens to the best of us, I guess.
The best of us?
If they were an advocate for children, why don't they offer constructive support and not rip someone apart? That was sort of my thing too, was like, if you're an advocate, why are you saying she's a nasty, vile human being that needs to be held accountable? That to me doesn't sound like an advocate. To me, an advocate would be like, say, there was this podcast that Lindsie and KAIL did where they talked about KAIL's history with DV and what she's done to partners like Hobby. And KAIL not wanting it out there because she doesn't like to see that side of her, and sort of Lindsie trying to hold her accountable, saying like, if people see this and you're honest about it, it can only help your growth, not condoning the behavior, but also being like, you can't erase your past. And if you want to get better, you have to actually take those steps to be better.
Oh, guys, let's just take a minute to laugh. Katie. Wow. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm going back because that was beautiful. Oh, the ending is where we should have started.
And sort of Lindsie trying to hold her accountable, saying like, if people see this and you're honest about it, it can only help your growth, not condoning the behavior, but also being like, you can't erase your past. And if you want to get better, you have to actually take those steps to be better.
Is this TikTok? Were you on TikTok before? I mean, those are some fucking dance moves. Katie. Makes me kind of want to join in the background and dance with you. I don't know what to say. I'm just going to press play.
That would be how you would help someone. Groups that are giving you free real estate in their heads. Yes. Microaggression, a new word for the day. Many of these people are like that. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Melissa, for your super chat. Repsion. Okay. Let's not use the D word. Okay. Yeah. So an advocate, whether say they're advocating for Chris, an advocate wouldn't try to destroy the relationship between the two parents. I think about how Child and Family Services, typically their entire purpose is reunification and helping families to become stronger by providing resources to bridge gaps, to deal with anger, to manage, communication, to deal with frustration, to deal with violence. That's what an advocate would do. An advocate would help Kailyn, if that's the case of the target, seek help for the issues in which she's dealing with, not necessarily say we need to fire her and take away her job and take away all of her, businesses because she's an entitled brat and I hate her guts. People have been really nasty to KAIL about what she's experienced with Chris because of the double standard, 100%. So I'm not like by any means excusing anything that she's said or done. I'm just sort of telling you like, this is, Micah's channel was up yesterday and down today. I have not noticed that. How do I feel about KAIL taking advantage of the judicial system whenever she doesn't get her way? Can you talk about that, especially since you are an advocate for POC? I don't really know the details about, I know the one with Chris, and that involved a physical altercation where he actually got physical with her. I don't know the stuff about Javi and Joe. So I don't, like, if she's doing that, I don't agree with it. But like, I don't know what's true. Like, I know she did one on.
What, oh yeah, was June, the beginning of June? Was that when Black Lives Matter happened? I should have Googled it. Katie, the person's like, since you're an advocate for POC, what? Well, she's not an advocate for her child because I remember she was talking on that live, the IG live about George Floyd's death and going into detail and stuff. And her son had to yell out for her to stop and be quiet. And instead of going to her son to see, what he'd heard and if he's in distress and all that, she just gets up and shuts the door.
Hobby, which I think is kind of ridiculous. I think she did that as a petty thing, which is really, you shouldn't use a restraining order for petty purposes.
Oh my God. How times have changed 4 years later.
Here's to breathing regularly and taking a drink of water as necessary. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. But yeah. With all of that being said, cancel culture is very toxic. And KAIL can be mean. KAIL can be bullyish. She can say very inappropriate things. In fact, I actually got very irritated with KAIL for how she went after Janelle, even though Janelle is not a very nice person either to KAIL, and Janelle can be really nasty. There are times when I think the drama that they create online is just so unnecessary and mean-spirited, but that's just me. But I've been pushing to cancel KAIL. No, I haven't been pushing to cancel KAIL. I've literally been trying to find a story. So I saw that stuff about KAIL. So I said, if this is true, it was more of in defense of Taylor when I said that, because Taylor was canceled for things that MTV had already addressed. So it was pointing out the hypocrisy. Like, are you going to cancel Taylor because of things you've already addressed and she's said in the past and you've allowed her to work through? Then what about all the other people on this channel? And then all of this stuff starts coming out about KAIL, and then I'm following the story. And I've never once said KAIL.
Katie, the hypocrisy is thick, but I think it might be that you are just contradicting yourself, because that's not at all what this stream was about. What's my stream about? Well, I don't know, but we're so close to the end. I'm so excited. Oh, yeah, no, I wasn't talking about when the whole movement started, but thank you. Today I learned, Will Clem, Thank you. Cactus high five. Oh, did it start? So it did come. Okay, so I'll just read what Will wrote. Black Lives Matters started when Trayvon Martin died in 2012. Oh, we needed that information. Oh, and then, yes, double clarification from Will. Cactus high 10. No. George Floyd was May 25, 22. Oh, yeah, so really 4 weeks later. Oh, and then she took her son to hospital after delaying taking him for a few days because she was too drunk. And then, yeah, so we had a shunt malfunction, in pain, vomiting, and it's all content for Katie. And then they went to the hospital and she live streamed from the hospital. I'll share that video. I'll link it down below.
Bill shouldn't have a job. I've never said that at all. I have not, I definitely am not pro cancel culture. So, I have not checked Micah's channel either. If there's not any other questions, that was, and everyone has very strong opinions about her. I get it. I get it. But I also want to remind you that everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes. All of us are capable of growth. All of us are capable of change. And if we truly want to end the division and the racial tension, we have to be willing to allow people to grow, to own up to their mistakes, to realize their failures, to realize their ignorance, and to teach them how to speak better, how to treat people better, to understand how their behavior affects other people. But if you immediately cancel them and say, you don't deserve anything, you're a terrible person because of what you said, how does that teach them how to be better?
Look how proud you are after spewing all that. You never once in the time that you've been on YouTube have learned anything. You haven't grown. The only reason your subscriber increases, like your subscriber count increases because you pay for it. The only reason you have likes and comments is because you pay for those. When you don't have self-awareness, you think that you can fool the world because you can't see your wrongs. You can't see your role in what is happening. You'll create all this mess and then it's everyone else's fault. And here you are spewing absolute garbage because you do not follow those rules. You do not do what you say. You preach shit. You preach what you don't even practice yourself. But I guess you need self-awareness, don't you? Like, it does my head in. The narcissism used to do my head in, but it's the self-awareness, the lack. Like, why isn't that a disorder? She doesn't know how she's coming across. She doesn't know who she is, what she's into, how she doesn't know that her body language contradicts everything that comes out of her mouth. How many times did she want to stroke her hair when she was, well, I can't remember what she was talking about, but it's just back here.
We have to be willing to allow people to grow.
Yes.
So,
when she's talking about growth and learning, something she's been unable to do. She's stunted her brain. She's stuck in the teenage mentality. She's not a mature woman. She's got doesn't have the mature mindset needed to raise a medically fragile child. The mature mindset that's needed for a premature baby. To put his needs before her own. But because she's been abusing alcohol and pills for well over 2 decades of her life, which she has admitted to, that's why her brain is stunted. That's why she's just stuck in this fucking carousel. Round and round and round we go. It's just crazy that she's married and Toad so emasculated that he can't even tell her the truth. Or is he like living in oblivion as well because he's done the damage to his brain? He's got the stunted brain. I swear they're so, like, they're worse off than anything I've ever witnessed on 16 and pregnant. And I witnessed a lot. Like, I feel like they might have been more neglectful than Amber was when she was eating fentanyl patches. And all that footage of like, fuck, why didn't MTV cameraman just put down that camera and go and help Leah? If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's best you don't. Scarred from Amber Portwood's 16 and pregnant, or it might have been the Teen Mum season 1. I think it was when they lived in that fucking nightmare apartment, and Gary brought the PlayStation. He brought Guitar World or something, the drums, instead of thinking about Leah. But he was working. Wasn't he a nurse or something? Like, anyway, that's like going way back. We got way off track. What was I trying to say? Yeah, I feel like they might have been better parents than Katie. At least one of them was. You know, at least Gary was. If Lee didn't have Gary. But then we always say if B didn't have Toad, but he's not good. He's good during the day, but because he's spent half his life dealing with addiction himself, alcoholism and hard drugs, he doesn't have the temperament to parent. So when it gets to that time of night, when he's already like, you know, like 6 p.m. is usually a trigger for alcoholics because they just want to sit down and watch the news and start drinking like that. They want their parent time. You know, it's not mummy time now. This is Katie time. It's fucked. And yeah, so when it gets to that time, he doesn't, like Toad, doesn't want to be V's friend anymore. He doesn't want to play. He yells at him. And we've caught that multiple times over and over. Why can't they prioritize their son? Because they're just so deep in their addiction, so deep in their substance abuse. I mean, there's alcoholism, medication abuse, like trazodone, for example, and her Adderall abuse. And then there's the screen addiction on top of it, which they have given to their child, and they're totally unaware of how that has stunted his own brain growth because their child has been screen-fed since he was able to sit up and hold the phone himself. That's how they parent. Their child is screaming, they can't control him. They give him a screen or trazodone. Katie over-medicates him, gives him more trazodone than she takes, and she's an addict of that because trazodone is her E.T. quote fingers happiness. I'll link these videos down below so you can hear Katie talk about it.
I have not checked Micah's channel either. If there's not any other questions, that was, and everyone has very strong opinions about her. I get it. But I also want to remind you that everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes. All of us are capable of growth. All of us are capable of change. And if we truly want to end the division and the racial tension, we have to be willing to allow people to grow, to own up to their mistakes, to realize their failures, to realize their ignorance, and to teach them how to speak better, how to treat people better, to understand how their behavior affects other people. But if you immediately cancel them and say, you don't deserve anything, you're a terrible person because of what you said, how does that teach them how to be better? Advocates change systems and educate people, not judge. Do I think men and women should be treated equally when it comes to paying child support? I think all people should be treated equally when it comes to child support. I think everyone should be treated differently. So my point is, you don't have to like everything that she does. You don't have to even like her. But when you have people literally going off and making things up, that's when it becomes an issue of this isn't even being objective. This isn't even being helpful. This is literally like trolling and hurting people that you're mad at, that you hate for some reason. And you might have a valid reason for hating that person.
And just a little advice, Katie, with your whole hate thing. Like, no one else hates. Like, I don't hate. I don't bother carrying around that fucking negative energy because it doesn't do me any good. And plus, you know, I'm not petty and I don't care if people talk about me, you know, Katie, but you do. You spend your whole life trolling, what people say about you, because you care so much, because, you know, you're immature and you've never reached that beautiful, blissful level where, you know, all of us have reached, where nothing can harm you because you don't care. You don't care, but you care too much. And I wish you cared about your son as much as you cared about online drama. But yeah, going after people because you hate them. That's you. Get that tattooed on your arm. I was going to say forehead. This is your forehead. Yeah.
I still think Micah should be canceled. Yeah, I don't know. I just, you know, what about the Duggars? I don't think the Duggars should be on air, but that's because of criminal behavior. That has nothing to do. There's some people that literally, the problem with cancel culture, and Liam McVoy did a thing about this, is there's really truly people that should be removed from platforms based on very bad behavior. And then there's just people that are problematic. And so there are people committing crimes that should be canceled, right? There are people that are abusing things that should be canceled. They should not have a platform because of what they're doing that's causing and inflicting pain or criminal. And then there's other people that are just labeled as problematic, which is pretty much everyone on YouTube.
You're the criminal one, Katie. You have caused harm at that level. And problematic still is, like, you're different. It's still the same thing. It's not opposite enough to be, what are you talking about? It really shat me then, because what hand she was saying, yeah, okay, I'm not even going to get into it. Just, I wish she would stick with the hand that she chose to be, the thing that she chose to be. This is where I'm at. I'm just causing my own confusion. We're so close to the end. I just got to stop coming up and interrupting.
This is just to piss the haters off. Thank you. Jean Colbert, thank you so much. You love my dog. Thank you. So again, I'm not here to judge. I was able to get everything removed from the videos. Like, there's legitimate reasons for people to be canceled. Someone who is committing crimes that are really, really bad against the community or against children or against women, yes, they should be canceled. Like, there's legitimate reasons for people to be canceled. The problem is that cancel culture is not about canceling those people. It's literally about canceling anyone for any perceived injustice. Thank you, Jacobs and Bastions, and thank you, Rose Santini, for your.
Katie, right now, I just want a peace sign. I want you to tell me this is over. Oh no. Are we going to dance again?
But I appreciate you guys all there. And this has been a great afternoon. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will be back later. Maybe tonight, I'm not sure, but I'm going to take some time off and try to relax. Bye, guys.
That's what I want to see. Thank you. Thank you. We've made it to the end. I'm smiling. My brain is back. My brain is back, and I'm sure something was good there. Oh my God. She's just, Katie, I might send this to you. Yes, I'm going to send this to you. I'm going to just email you every month. Well, next month is your court case. Are you going to rock up? Should we talk about this? You know, or should I should conclude this, what we just watched. In conclusion, Katie Joy says, Katie Joy has no self-awareness. That's it. That's really all we came to see. And the hair. Because if you had friends, they would have said, I don't think the side of your head, like shaving that, is going to help with your shape of your head. Made it to the end and I'm just completely mush brain. Oh, you haven't. Are you being sarcastic, Tonya? Tonya says, did I miss something? Who's the troll? Katie is the troll, and she's also the source of her own I don't know, stuff. Oh, wow. When my brain, I thought you were back. I thought you were happy, but no. Yeah, I was going to talk about Tabitha, like that. I've been sharing shorts from Katie's Instagram lives from last week and the week before, and where she's going after Tabitha for turning up at the court hearing, which is a open public, it's like an open court public hearing. Yeah, and since Katie was so rattled, I feel like that was her invitation. And I don't know if you guys in America have it. Do you have renter crowds? You know, because some comedians aren't funny, and so they rent a crowd, and you can always tell when the crowd's rented because who are these people? I've never seen these people before. Anyway, I want to rent a crowd, or can I rent a person in Minnesota can I own you for the day and you do what I say? No. Can we each get a person? Can we just put flyers up around the area and say, like, if you want to see, I don't know, something really good that's better than Netflix, turn up to this courtroom. I'm just being stupid, and am I? I've never wanted to live in your state so much because I would rock up and I'd sit right next to Tabitha, and I might even bring like signs of how much I love 7M and all that, you know, support signs and multiple ones that I can hand out so I'm not the only one, because, you know, you don't want to be the only one with a sign. Katie, I do love your peace sign because it means it's the end. And is this the end of this live? Yes. I was going to say, unfortunately, this is the end, but thank God this is the end. Let's celebrate. We made it through another one. And yeah, I just had to get away from 2024. It's too much. But yeah, I don't know. Also, yes. Oh, Tabitha should make her own media pass. Who's she working for? You know, the Steve McRae media. No. Disregard that totally. You could always be Cactus Press. Cactus Broadcast. No. Well, if you need an association, I'm putting up my hand, Tabitha. But also, can we buy some like cardboard cutout people, or like make some cardboard cutout people and have like our faces on there, so at least there's a crowd. Tabitha, you could take a mirror so there's two of you. Oh, you could confuse. A cactus microphone. A cactus with a cactus with a reporter and a notepad, with a cactus pen and cactus glasses. Oh my gosh, guys. Anyway, we made it to the end, so I hope I didn't spoil your Friday night. Please give this video a like and, yeah, comment below. Let me know what you think. Replay crew. What else? Please consider subscribing. I won't keep you too much longer. My voice is almost on the way out, and my brain's like, sorry, tricked you, gone. But what Goose and I agreed with, TK, yes, just letting you in on what Goose and I have agreed on. We're going to do a live where I want to meet all your pets. Everyone, Cactus crew, I want to meet your pets. Like, pets mean so much to me, your fur babies, your dogs, your cats. Come on camera and introduce me to your pet, and then let me talk to them and give them kisses. And then we can just have a whole stream, like line up and show me your babies. Oh my God, that would be so, even just thinking about it, I'm speechless because, oh my God, how exciting. Anyway, guys, take care out there. Have a good weekend, and I'll catch you next week. We're getting closer to March, so that's all I can think about. See you guys. Take care.